This is why people often identify themselves as mixed and not just black or not black at all.
Represent your culture with pride.
I'm no black, I'm no black, I'm no black, I'm Dominicana, I'm Dominicana, I'm Dominicano, I'm Dominicano. Ya te dije mil veces que soy Dominican. You've heard it, I've heard it. Let's talk about it. Now, este tema está bien profundo y tiene mucha capa, and I've already tried to film this video a couple times. Let's talk about why a lot of Dominicans like to push away this specific label. And this is really a conversation had in the US. So we know that black is a race, and that within our race there are many ethnicities. This is called the diaspora. And all of our black identities are uniquely shaped by our experiences based on our region. So as African Americans, our identity was largely shaped after slavery here in the US. Now, our stories are very parallel in the sense of being taken from Africa, being put on a ship, being scattered across the Americas, and in this case, in the island of Hispaniola, they worked on sugar, tobacco, and coffee plantations. Another point I wanted to make while editing is that a lot of Dominicans will often identify as mixed, and in this mix, they often include Taino blood, which is the indigenous population that existed within the Caribbean before the presence of the Spanish. You have the blood of the Spanish, and then you also got African ancestry. You'll hear a few terms that people call themselves como indio. Some are not as common or just not as common within that region, como mestizo, mezclado. And with all of these identities that people identify with, this is why people often identify themselves as mixed and not just black or not black at all. So for many, the identity of being Dominican is more so rooted in nationality than it is in race. Another huge thing to note is that they share the island of Hispaniola with Haiti. When slavery ended on the island of Hispaniola, it was due to Haitian rule. Now, this is really important to note. Slavery occupied the entire island of Hispaniola. It ended in Haiti after the Haitian Revolution, I believe in 1804. Then it was taken over to the Dominican Republic. Haitian rule was taken over to the Dominican Republic. The DR was under Haitian rule for 22 years, from 1822 to 1844. Now, during this time of Haitian rule over DR, slavery did end up getting abolished, but the rule also caused a lot of tensions to stir up between the people. Even though the people were free, they didn't have as much control as they probably would have liked. Haitian laws imposed taxes, military service, the culture was different, the people were different, the language was different. All of this tension led to the Dominican War of Independence. And this tension has existed ever since then. You have leaders like Trujillo who used to amplify anti-Haitian sentiment, committing acts of violence against Haitians, like the Parsley Massacre. And the goal of the Parsley Massacre was to whiten the borderland. So since these tensions have ever existed, colorism has been extremely prevalent. And as colorism goes, a lot of people like to connect the idea of being lighter to being better. Some people opt to not want to identify with the label that they feel like was forced upon them as a racial classification, as some people do here in the US as well. Another thing to note is that the word black has undergone what we call semantic narrowing here in the US, meaning it was once used to refer to the diaspora, but because of the history, it has become politically centered on African Americans. And I've heard people admit to the fact that when they don't identify with black here in the US, that means they don't identify with us as a people specifically. So hay mucha capa para este tema, y tú sabes, yo no soy dominicana, but I'm just here to give context. This video wasn't for me to give my opinion, but I hope this context helps. Un besito.